All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my special Christmas IRL podcast slash stream slash whatever the heck you want to call it. Feeling festive, decided to switch hats for this final segment, which is going to be all about the holidays, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about how I traditionally in my family celebrated the holidays, different traditions and things that I did. What I want to do is make this a very interactive segment where I talk to you guys about all the stuff that, that I used to do for Christmas, and I'm wondering what you guys do, if it's any similar things, if you do variations of what I do, and stuff like that. So let's get started. First of all, for me, Christmas would really start in early December, all right? Brian, what did you just say? Brian just did a 100-bit cheer, and he says, I cheer more, but last night at the strip club was really slow. Wow. We all know that Brian actually works at a strip club. He is a very ripped dude. He works out and, roided. Okay, he isn't really roid, but you know what I mean? Like, he's got that really crazy Adonis-looking body. So he's a Chippendale, and he makes tons of money, but it was slow because it was Christmas Eve. All the girls were out, I guess. I don't know. All right. Thank you, sir, for the cheer. I appreciate that. If you're not aware, Brian is the person who has done a lot of co-op with me this year. He did Destiny 2 co-op. We did a lot of fighting game stuff together, so pretty cool to see him. All right. So for me, Christmas always began in early December. It was like a month-long celebration. I remember in early December, we would put up the main Christmas tree in the house, meaning the Christmas tree that would go in my living room. And always that tree was a nice, giant green tree. We only had a real tree, I believe, twice. And the reason why we didn't get it was because it was just always such a pain in the ass to clean up afterward, even though it smelled amazing. Real trees smell really good, right? I love the scent of a real tree. In fact, last night I burned a candle that smells like trees because I love that scent. But it could be a real hassle to clean up, especially when the needles are coming off, there's sap coming out of the goddamn thing, and, trying to get out the door in particular, if you don't have giant doors, right? For me, even though it's not as nice, I think a fake tree is just as good. And my parents pretty much always had one of the fake trees. It's kind of like the pipe cleaner. It feels like pipe cleaners, like green pipe cleaner style tree. When we first had a Christmas tree, it was just the tree. And we would have to actually get lights to put on. I remember when I was younger, we always used to use multicolored lights. And you have to put them all around the tree and everything. And we'd also do garland, like red and green garland, sometimes golden garland. We would have a wide variety of ornaments. Sometimes there would be little balls, colored balls, but sometimes we'd have characters. Like as I got older, we would buy those themed ornaments of different characters and stuff from cartoons that I liked, and we would have those on the tree as well. And I also remember when I was very young, we had a star topper that was really colorful, and we had a toy train that would drive around the base of the tree. But my parents, I should say my mom, was more religious, and she always wanted to have a nativity set under the tree. And so we had this nativity set made of real wood. It was a big stable made of wood with these little plastic figurines of, the baby Jesus in the manger and Joseph and Mary, and then the three wise men and the shepherds and the animal, like the donkey and the animals, camels and stuff that would be around and everything. Okay. So that was kind of our main tree setup. Now, when I started getting a little bit older, my parents said, well, let's actually let the kids have their own trees. So in my room and in my cousin's room, because we didn't have the same room, we had two upstairs bedrooms, were our trees. Now, my tree was a little one. So I'm 6 feet tall. The tree was maybe 3-4 feet tall tops. I think it was between 3 to 4 foot tall mini tree. And again, I liked multicolored lights, so typically I would have different colored lights and stuff like that. Sometimes as I got older, my parents didn't really want the themed kind of cartoony ornaments on their tree anymore, the main tree, so I would put those on my tree. And any presents that I bought for my family, I would wrap myself and put under my tree, which was nice. And you might say, well, if you're a kid, what presents did you buy? Well, my school used to have a Christmas fair where they have all kinds of cool collectibles and stuff you could buy. And I would buy some of the more unique ones, wrap them myself, and it would have cool presents to give to my family and stuff on Christmas morning, which was nice. My cousin, who was 5 years older than me, who also lived with us, she had her own tree. Now, her tree was white. One of those, the whole tree, not white frosted, but the whole tree was like white branches. and her lights were blue, which was really nice. And she would put her own themed kind of ornaments. You know, she grew up as a girl, like strawberry shortcake and stuff like that. She liked on her tree. So, so we all had our own trees. Now, as time progressed, like I said, my parents didn't want to have the kitty stuff on the tree. Basically, the tree in the living room became like their adult tree. And so what my mom did, she stopped doing colored lights. She stopped doing all that. She started doing only white lights and peach and gold and silver ornaments with like golden or peachy garland on the tree. She stopped doing the star on top, instead got this peach colored angel topper that she would put. It was an angel holding candles and stuff like that for the top of the tree. Okay, so that was one way we would decorate the house. We also always had one of those big Christmas card holders that we would hang. We have a in our hallway a front. Well, I say our. There, I mean, it was ours back then. There's a front hallway where there's a big kind of staircase going up, and on the side of the staircase is like a wall, a banister where you could hang stuff. And we would hang this giant Christmas card holder. And over the course of the month, as we ended up getting Christmas cards from family and extended family, we would put the cards inside. It would be nice to fill it up, you know, have like 15, 20 different Christmas cards, fill it up. It's a nice way to display that. It was pretty nice. My mom, as I got older, started going crazy with Christmas decorations. I mean, seriously, she would buy these giant, I'm not even exaggerating, like 3-foot tall porcelain angel dolls that would be standing in the house. Some would move animatronically and stuff, which was odd. I thought it was freaking weird. I was like, where do I live, right? And then also, my mom got these little porcelain houses that were Christmas themes, so like snow and like little people inside, lights would light up, and she would have those on like different mantles, different places around the house and stuff like that. Surprisingly enough, never really candles, which a lot of people like to burn Christmas candles or whatever. My parents were never into that for whatever reason. I don't know, maybe they were afraid of the fire, that one of the kids, me or my cousin would knock it over or something. I don't know. But they were never into that kind of stuff, surprisingly enough. Now, that was just the base decorations, all right? There was other stuff that we did over the course of the month that was also holiday tradition for us. By the way, shout out to Rockstar, did a 10-bit share. He said, sing us a Christmas song. My favorite is So Is This Christmas by John Lennon. Dude, can you not hear my voice? My voice is incredibly hoarse. I cannot do any singing right now. I'm sorry. And shout out to Rock the Ice 24 who subscribed to the channel, which means, yes, ladies and gentlemen, 327 subs have been achieved. I now have the most subs ever that I've ever had concurrently is 327. Thank you very much, everybody. So, a few things that we would do around the house as holiday traditions. First of all, we would always have, again, growing up a Roman Catholic, that's how I was raised, we would always have an Advent calendar. If you're not aware what this is, it's a calendar that you would hang, and we always hang that on the doorway that went down to the basement, where every day, for 25 days, you open up a new door every day in the month of December. And behind each door, there's usually a Bible verse or there's a nice picture of something from the Bible or something like that. Now, as I got older, my mom stopped doing that and got this tree. It was a porcelain white tree, and it was the the Franklin Mint holiday holiday advent calendar, where every day there would be a new metal. It wasn't really gold, but it was like fake cheap metal, gold plated. And every day would take a new metal for each day and hang it on each branch of the tree so that the tree would fill up over the course of the month. And on one side it had a Bible verse, and on the other side it was like a scene from the Bible. So today it was the sheep, and you put the sheep on. To the next day it's one of the wise men, and the wise men goes on there, right? So the tree would fill up gradually over the course of the month. That was one thing that we did. My mom and dad also had a big kind of stereo record player thing in the living room, and they had these Christmas albums that they would play either on tape or on record during all the month of Christmas. You'd hear Christmas music going on throughout the house, which was really nice. I loved it growing up with Christmas music. That's how I learned all the Christmas carols. It's because my parents constantly had them playing in the house, which was really nice. So I got to learn all the famous Christmas songs growing up just from naturally having them be ambient music in the house during Christmas time. In addition to all of that, my parents would always have Christmas treats in the house. What kind of Christmas treats would we have? Well, popcorn balls were huge because they're cheap. They don't go bad quickly. You can have them for a few weeks. They're messy, but they're better for you than, say, eating candy. So popcorn balls were always wrapped in the house. Candy, oh my God. We always had a tree, a hollow glass Christmas tree that would be full of like Hershey's Kisses, mini Reese's peanut butter cups, that kind of stuff. And we would fill it up at the beginning of the month, and all month we would just open there and snack on it. We'd have dinner, then we'd go into the living room to digest from dinner and open it up and snack on candy while we digested from dinner, right? It was pretty cool. Rockstar just did a 10-bit cheer. He says, I've got a white retro porcelain mini tree from 1950. It's awesome with single bulbs that stick out around the sides. Yeah, we also used to have a mini tree with these little like light up bulbs as well. That was a porcelain tree as well. I think it's kind of similar to what you're describing. It's like a throwback tree. It's supposed to be meant to be like something retro from like the mid 1900s, and we had one of those in the house as well. Now, in regards to holiday cooking traditions, let's start getting into that, because I'm sure a lot of people, when you say holidays, it's about the food, right? One tradition my mom would always do, she would make something called the strips. Now, the strips actually have a name. My mom, for whatever reason, retained all these recipes from her family and her heritage, and she never remembered any of the names of any of them. Like, I told you guys about egg with the hole in the middle, right? She would take a piece of bread, rip out the middle, cook an egg inside of it, top it with cheese, and then you cut it up and eat it for breakfast. Well, it's actually called, I believe it's either called eggs in a nest or like eggs in a basket, but she would call it egg with the hole in the middle. Obviously, that's not the real name for it, right? So she would make this thing she would call the strips, all right? What they were, I want you to think of a jelly roll. Think of a jelly roll, right? It's like a cake that's kind of like spiral, and in between you could have layers of, say, cream and jelly and that kind of stuff. She would make these, only it wasn't that kind of a pastry, all right? It was bread. It was like, I didn't mean to say pastry. It wasn't cake. It was like a breaded pastry. So she would take these rolls of dough, and then she would roll them up with ingredients inside, and she would make a poppy seed, walnut and cinnamon, prune, and I believe she had another one with raisins in it. So she would make 4 different kinds of these things. Now, when you bake them, it wouldn't even look like a pastry. You would think you were making like a calzone or something. You would think, oh man, you're going to cut that open. There's going to be sauce and cheese inside, right? But no, you cut it open, and it would be this oval-shaped slice that kind of looked like a thin jelly roll. And you would eat it, and it would be good. It would be doughy, breaded pastry with different fillings on the inside. Now, mine was always a prune and raisin were my favorite because those were the ones that were kind of sweet. My dad really liked the poppy seed, and I believe some of our family members really liked the walnut that she would make. So, there actually is a name for this thing she made, but for the life of me, I never knew what it was. I never knew what the hell the name of it was because she never told us what the name of the thing was. She never figured it out herself. She called them the strips. I think it's actually a Polish thing because she was half Polish. Well, my mom isn't. She is. She's half Polish and half Italian. So I think it was one of her Polish recipes, but I don't know what the hell. Maybe someone in the stream chat is Polish and would know what the hell I'm describing. I'm not sure. No, not babka. Sweaty back wheels, is it babka? No, it's not babka. Not turnovers. It's got this specific name to it. When you're thinking babka, you're thinking the little things that are like cookies that are rolls. No. This was a giant strip that you would chop into slices, like wedges that you would eat. So it's not babka. I don't know. All right, anyway, so that was another thing. By the way, shout out to Rock the Ice who did an 11-bit cheer. And he said, bring the seasonings. Bring the season of seasonings. Yes. So, what else? My mom would make Christmas cookies. She would actually make different kinds, and mostly they were sugar cookies. What she would do is make these rolled up sugar cookies into balls. She would make flattened sugar cookies, different kinds of cookies, and she would buy different toppings. Sometimes she would just put like a colored icing on top. Sometimes we would put these little candy balls. There were these little candy balls made of sugar, but they were metallic, like they look metallic, even though it was edible. You'd push those in to make like designs into the cookies, and I used to do that. I would decorate them as a kid. She would bake them, but then I would push the stuff into it to decorate. Gumdrops you would push in there, as well as other kinds of candy and stuff you would stick into the sugar cookies. And so we'd have a plate of sugar cookies that we would eat over, a week or two before Christmas. Traditionally, for Christmas, we did not go the turkey route. A lot of people always say Christmas, you got to have a turkey. But for us, it was like Thanksgiving's about the turkey, right? You always have turkey on Thanksgiving. Why would you eat turkey on Thanksgiving and then eat turkey again on Christmas? Like double turkey, it doesn't make sense. So for us, it was a ham. Whether it was a giant baked ham that my mom would slice up and give to us in pieces, big chunks. Later on, she would get just like one of those giant ham slices and cook it in like a pan and chop it up and give it to us. But usually it was baked ham, okay, with pineapple. She would put pineapple on the ham and glaze the ham in like a cinnamon glaze. So you'd have pineapples and cinnamon with ham. Sometimes she would make some kind of potatoes. Sometimes it was like a baked potato. Sometimes she made like these potatoes that were like scalloped potatoes and stuff like that, and cheese and stuff like that. Manicotti. I don't know how this became a Christmas tradition for us, but it is. Manicotti, if you're not aware, it's a tube-shaped pasta, all right? It's a tube-shaped pasta where you fill it with ricotta cheese, okay? And then on top, you put more sauce you bake on top, and then you drizzle more cheese on top and seasoning, some kind of like green seasoning. Don't never know what it was, but... And it's good because it was a tube. You cut it and eat it in chunks. And, man, let me tell you, fresh manicotti on Christmas Day baked. Oh, that shit's delicious, man. And other like dinner rolls, there'd be some kind of a roll or something as well. And the thing is, we would eat that, and then immediately, like I said, we would have Christmas cookies or whatever, those strips or whatever for dessert. So it was like a course by course by course meal on Christmas Day. And, of course, there was always leftovers that would last for several days after, which was pretty awesome. So, as for food, that pretty much covers it. But as for Christmas traditions, like what did we do for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day? Typically on Christmas Eve when I was younger, myself and all of my family, including my parents, my cousin who lived with us, my godparents, and their 3 daughters who were about my age, some were older, some were younger, as well as kind of the grandparents, and everyone else would go over to my great aunts and great uncle's house. And I never had grandparents because even though I have them, I've never met them. They all moved away when I was a kid. Remember, I mentioned this over the years that sometimes my family would get into these fights and they wouldn't talk to each other. So I never met my grandparents ever. My grandparents on my mother's side have passed away. On my father's side, they just moved away to like Arkansas or something, and I never saw them again, ever again. Okay. So really, it was my great aunt and my great uncle that served as my grandparents when I was growing up. So we would all go over to their house, and we'd have a big family tradition now. If I remember correctly, they were they're Polish, but also something else. Some other kind of European heritage, okay? So whenever we went over there, oh my God, here we go with the food again, right? Fried dough. Taking dough and rolling it into this thing and putting it into a deep fryer, and it would come out as a big airy puff that you could just eat, or you could dip it in sugar and eat it if you like. The kids would love to dip it in sugar. I'm sure it was absolutely terrible for you, but it was something they always got. Waffle cookies. Those little waffle cookies that look like snowflakes, those two were huge. Everyone ate those on Christmas there. Communion, and I know that sounds weird to have communion at home, especially if you're a Roman Catholic, communion at home. For somehow they would buy communion that already had been blessed by a priest, and we would actually have communion together that night, the night of Christmas Eve, and there would be music playing, and it would be me, like I said, me, my cousin, and the 3 other girls who were my second cousins. So there would always be like 5 kids there, plus a bunch of relatives just kind of hanging out and talking and having fun, older adults. There was my great aunt, my great uncle, their 2 sons. So it was the Uncle Michael and Uncle Raymond. Uncle Raymond was my godfather, so it was him and his wife Diane, and then the 3 kids who were my second cousins, then their parents. So it was like having another set of grandparents, even though really I was never close with them. And then sometimes other relatives would come and visit as well. Sometimes other relatives would just come in to stop by and visit for a while, but they wouldn't stay for the whole time. And we would have a big dinner together. And typically I would sit at the kids' table because I was a kid. And then the big highlight of the night for us, after kind of messing around, eating and everything, and all night, would be that my great uncle would dress up like Santa Claus. And he would come out and he would sit down and give the kids presents. Now, what they did is they had these giant stockings, and each stocking had one of our names on it. Philip for me, and then my cousin, and then my 3 second cousins. And we're like, ho, 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 he pretended to be Santa. When we were little kids, we believed he was really Santa. So we'd sit on his lap, and he would give us the stocking, and we would open up all these presents. It would be from everyone. It would be presents from my godparents, presents from my parents, all mixed together, okay? All mixed together stuff. Typically, it wasn't anything amazing. It was little toys, candy, that kind of stuff. But it was nice on Christmas Eve to go home with something nice as like a preview of what the big presents would be the next day from my actual parents, okay? Now, of course, I thought they were from Santa. So, that being said, we'd have this fun night out the night before Christmas at my great uncle's house. And then the next day, we'd go to sleep, come home with all these toys and everything to play with, whatever, get tired, go to sleep. And then the next morning, we're up, time to open presents. And of course, my parents were always good about waking up early, putting the presents down in the living room and all of that. And I would tear open the presents or whatever. So people have asked me actually over the past few weeks, what are the best Christmas mornings I had? What were some of the best Christmas presents I ever got? I can answer this for you, okay? Well, I remember once when I was very young, I was probably like 4 or 5 years old, my parents bought me Eternia. Now, for those who don't know what that is, I was a huge fan of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the cartoon that was all over television, and it was this huge action figure tie-in where you could get a million different action figures, and I owned a bunch of the action figures. But I didn't own any of like the sets. It was just the action figures I owned. So one year my parents went all out. They bought Eternia. Oh my God. Dude, Eternia is huge. It was this giant thing, all right? No lie, all right? A giant thing that it would be a giant mountain-like structure with a microphone where you could talk and it would have your voice come out of it. Missiles would launch out of it. And not only did you have this giant tower-like thing in the center where all your action figures could interact and everything, then you've got things on the sides. You've got on one side the thing for the heroes, so it was supposed to be kind of like the good castle for the heroes, and the other side you had the evil side. And it was so cool because basically it was 3 in 1. It was like a neutral area where the two sides would fight, but then you could fight to the good side, you could fight to the bad side. It was really cool. It was really cool. And I'm absolutely sure that it was incredibly expensive. I'm sure that it was several $100s because the thing was ginormous. Even for the mid-1980s, I'm sure the thing was like really expensive. Then I remember one year, I got a bunch of Ninja Turtle stuff. I remember I got the Turtle van, a ton of Ninja Turtle action figures. That's kind of how Christmas was for me when I was younger. It wasn't about the video games. It was about action figures. Then finally, in the late 90s to the late 80s to early 90s, I kind of grew out of the action figure phase and I became more about collecting comic books and stuff like that. So I remember one year my parents bought me a bunch of these expensive comic books that I wanted, even though it's funny because they're worth nothing. It was like a special edition of a comic book with a holofoil cover that went for $50 when in reality the thing's worth like $1, right? But it's the special limited edition holofoil cover, $50. Because back then that was the big boom of comic books. So everything was overinflated and artificially expensive for a while. But then I got into video games, and I still remember the morning when I opened up my Super Nintendo, and my God, it was so awesome. It was, because I remember playing Super Mario World that whole day. Even though my parents had bought me other games with it, Super Mario World, I was blown away just by this game that it came with, okay? And playing Super Mario World on Christmas morning, all day long, having so much fun with it, and then my parents, Philip, dinner. What? And I looked at the clock. I'd been playing since like 10 in the morning, and it was like, 4 in the afternoon. I had played Super Mario World for like 6 hours straight. I didn't even know. The time had gone by like that. That's how video games were back in the day. You would get so immersed in them when they launched, an entire day would pass. You're like, what the hell just happened, right? And keep in mind that, back then, games were way simpler, but no one was good at games. It wasn't like I'm an amazing gamer and I can run through Super Mario World in 6 hours and do every level and beat all the fucking secret shit. No one even knew the secrets. You couldn't go on the internet to find out what the secret levels were. It was all flubbing through the games by yourself, There wasn't even strategy guides on sale at the launch of those games back then. It was all just you figuring stuff out. So, in particular, I remember just enjoying how many secrets and how much fun stuff was in Super Mario World at launch. That was an amazing. I remember that day. Then there were other Christmases. Like I remember one Christmas I got Street Fighter 2 for the SNES, and I played the shit out of that all day. You know what I mean? Like those kind of things that followed up. And then I remember there was one Christmas where I got a bunch of PlayStation games, and I remember Metal Gear Solid was one of them. And no lie, I played Metal Gear Solid for about 45 minutes. I took it out of my PS1 and I never played the game again. I owned Metal Gear Solid when it was a popular new game for PS1, and I played it for like 45 minutes. I was like, I don't like this shit. And I never booted the game ever again. I traded it in actually later on. I traded it in for money somewhere else. I just didn't like it. They weren't for me. Sneaking games were not for me. I liked many other styles of games. Sneaking games was not one of them. So Christmas Day would be mostly about opening presents and having a good meal. Now, sometimes what we would do, instead of being at home all day on Christmas Day, yes, I would open my gifts, but then it would be like, okay, you've opened your gifts, we played for a couple hours, we're going out to see the relatives. So sometimes we would go see my mom's Aunt Aggie. I guess that's what she called her. I don't even know what her full name is, Agnes maybe, but she always called her Aunt Aggie. And that was one house that we would go to in Connecticut. And then sometimes we would go visit my godparents, who we would just seen the night before at my my great aunt and great uncle's house. Now we would go to their house for Christmas Day. And so there'd be another slew of gifts, because it would be giving, more gift exchange between us and them that day. So it was like gifts on Christmas Eve, gifts on Christmas Day, gifts Christmas night. It was amazing. It was really cool. And then I remember there were some relatives that I never really saw, like my Uncle Richie and my Aunt Joyce, and they didn't live nearby. So what happens, they would mail Christmas cards, and I would end up getting like Christmas cards Christmas week with even more like money and stuff that I could spend on stuff myself. So that was kind of my Christmas experience. Now, over the years, sadly, things kind of fell apart. For a few things. First of all, I forgot to mention this. When I was younger, my parents always made us go to Mass. So it would either be Christmas Eve at some point during the day, we would go to Mass, all right? Or sometimes it would be like Christmas Day Mass. At some point in there, we would squeeze in church, okay? At some point. So I just wanted to mention that, because some people are, Roman Catholic, but you didn't go to church on Christmas. No, we always did. I just forgot to mention it. We squeezed it in at some point. We would go to church at some point. A lot of the times what we would do, we would go to the Christmas Eve Mass and then go right to my great aunt's house right afterward, after the Mass ended. Now, the reason that my Christmas celebrations fell apart is because my family over the years started to have falling out. I honestly don't even know what caused it. I don't know if it was teenage years and, kids acting up and having problems, and my parents and other parents not agreeing with how kids were being raised, or if it was just drama between. I have no clue. I honestly was not involved in it. I had my own thing going on. So I really didn't want to get involved in all the family drama and shit, right? That happened around that time. I didn't, I was growing up. I had my own thing going. I had my own friends, my own hobbies. I don't want to be involved in family freaking drama and people being all nasty to each other on Christmas. So what ended up happening eventually was we stopped going over to my great aunt's house. And I hated that. Even though I was older, I hated it. I wanted to keep going. And I was very disappointed that this falling out had happened and that we stopped going over there. And then eventually we stopped going over my godparents' house, and I stopped talking to them. Again, for whatever reason, I wasn't involved in it. So what ended up happening was my parents said, well, traditionally what we used to do is we used to always go over your great aunt and uncle's house, but now we don't do that for Christmas Eve anymore. We already cooked this nice family meal for Christmas Day. We don't want to cook twice in a row. What should we do? Now, my dad was a huge, and he still is, a ginormous, gigantic fan of the Christmas movie, A Christmas Story. I don't know how many of you have seen the movie. It's pretty popular, okay? If you don't know what happens in that movie, on Christmas Day, the family makes a turkey dinner, but it gets ruined. And so the family says, well, what's open on Christmas? Well, the only restaurants that are open on Christmas are Chinese restaurants because the Chinese don't celebrate Christmas like the rest of the world. They have their own holidays, okay? So during that movie, they go to a Chinese restaurant and they get a Chinese duck dinner. So what my family decided to start doing on Christmas Eve was start going to a Chinese restaurant on Christmas Eve because they would be open. And incidentally, this was something a lot of people in America do because we would go there and they'd always be packed. They'd be very popular. You know, people would be at these Chinese restaurants. And so I was first exposed to duck on Christmas Eve. I remember this one year I'd never had duck before. And we were at a Chinese restaurant, and I was like, well, what am I going to get? And I'm like, well, I don't want to just get like normal Chinese food. Let's order something different. So it was called plum duck, not plum duck, plum duck. And what it was roasted duck prepared. It wasn't a whole duck. It was a portion of the duck prepared and sliced into these thin strips. Now, for those who've never had duck before, duck is amazing. It's actually a leaner meat, but it has a fatty layer over it and then crispy, delicious skin, okay? And what you would do is you take the piece of duck, fork it, because it was in the strips, you fork it, dip it into this plum sauce, and eat it. Oh my God, it is mouth-wateringly effing delicious. It's one of the most delicious things I've ever had in my entire life. And anytime now, when I go to a Chinese restaurant, if they have some kind of duck, I try to get it, because Chinese duck is so delicious. It's like a delicacy. It really is. It's just amazing how good duck is. It really is. So yeah, if you have the opportunity to try duck and you've never had it, you got to try it. It's one of the best tasting dishes, especially if it's prepared in a certain way. It could really be amazing, mouth-wateringly good. So what ended up happening was now my family tradition would be on Christmas Eve, we go out to Chinese food, and then we have our own Christmas. Maybe what we would do that night, we would come home Christmas Eve and maybe open one present and then go to sleep. And the next day we'd open up the remainder of the presents on Christmas Day. And then we'd have our big Christmas Day dinner, which was a big ham or whatever. Okay. And then traditionally we would leave the Christmas decorations up till about the end of the year, till about New Year's. And then right about after New Year's, we'd take everything down because now you figure all the Christmas celebrations over. Right. So that was Christmas with my family. That's how we would do it. And then of course, over the years, as I got older, you know, I would basically go over there for Christmas and either have a Christmas Eve dinner or whatever. And then I would go ahead and do other stuff, you know, just visit them for Christmas Day, trade presents or whatever. You know, as I didn't live with them anymore, it wasn't like I was doing everything with them constantly like I used to. And then obviously, since I moved out here, very different. It was just me and my ex who would celebrate Christmas, which we would do. We put up the tree early, give gifts on Christmas Day or whatever. And Christmas Eve, we would go to a Chinese restaurant over here, and we would actually eat Chinese food on Christmas Eve together, and then exchange our gifts, either like one gift on Christmas Eve and then the rest during Christmas Day. And as you guys know, I've been here. I usually stream or work during Christmas Day, so that's what it's been, you know, for me up to now. So, okay. All right, I got a few shout-outs to do, and then what I would like to do to end the show is actually just open up the stream chat to Q&A. I'd like to hear what your Christmas traditions are and talk a little bit back and forth with you guys who are here live on stream, okay? So a few things. Shout out to Baby Vampire Thug, who did a 10-bit cheer and says, what do you like more, Fortnite or PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds? They're different games. I can't really answer that. I haven't really played. I don't think I've played Fortnite enough to say, oh, it's better or worse than PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. What I've noticed, the major difference between the two is really the time frame. Fortnite, the map is way smaller. So in Fortnite, a lot of matches are done within 5 to 10 minutes versus PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. A good match lasts a good 30 minutes. And it's a very different kind of game. I would say for stream interaction, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is better because you have a good 10 to 20 minutes before any action really happens in a lot of matches because you're just by yourself kind of looting and running around. And it lets you have a lot of stream chat interaction. All right. Nick did a dollar tip and he says, I really can't stick around and I have way too much to talk about for the character limit here for any kind of tip or whatever. So what I'd like to do is discuss my family traditions in the Christmas 27 thread on the forums. So I can read those later. Thank you, Nick, for the tips today. I appreciate it. And thanks for being here. Faithin131 resubscribed for the 10th month in a row and says, Merry Christmas. Thank you, Faithin. And now we're up to 328 subscribers, folks. 328 concurrent subs, the most I've ever had. Wow. Again, thank you. Thank you, guys. 328 subs is a tremendous achievement. Thank you very much. Shout out to Rock the Ice, who did a 10-bit cheer. Says, Metal Gear Strikes Back. And then he did another 10-bit cheer. Says, rest in peace, Daffy and Donald Duck. I don't know why he said that. Captain DCW did a 100-bit cheer. He says, Merry Christmas, Phil. I have to head out. Merry Christmas, Captain DCW. Thank you for the cheers today. I appreciate that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do it. Let's open up the stream chat. Oh, because of Duck Dinner. That's why he said rest in peace, Daffy and Donald Duck. Oh, all right. Let's open up the stream chat. Anyone have any questions for me? Anyone have anything they'd like to discuss before we adjourn? Because we're almost done here with the show. And then I can actually rest my voice for a couple hours before I do my nighttime stream. So, Derek says, my traditions were always that my parents would make a roast turkey with a delicious stuffing and a delicious hot pot dinner. Hot pot is good, man. I was turned on to hot pot a few years ago. I actually really like hot pot. Very nice. Also, Bionichu says, I grew up in an orphanage and for Christmas they let us go outside and we had a turkey per each 10 kids. I got the drumstick for a few years. Every year we do a raffle to see who got a present. I never won. I was there until I was 18. I got my first present from my boyfriend when I was 20 years old. Well, there you go. I'm sure life as an orphanage is not easy. So, hey, at least you got out of there, right? You survived. Alice Telemon did a 250-bit cheer. He says, it's not a Christmas question, but nonetheless, most people might know Daigo, Justin Wong, Mike Watson, Alex Valle, and Jeff Schaefer, but have they and you ever heard of the king of Street Fighter II who disappeared, Tomo Ohira? He played mostly in the Hyper Fighting and Champion Edition era. Was he truly the best? I don't know anything about him. I've heard the name Tomo tossed around, but that was after that was before I really got into competitive Street Fighter, so I don't know anything about him. Sorry. Ryukage 99 did a 100-bit cheer. Thank you very much, Ryukage. And Tyler JKU just subscribed for the third month in a row, earning the Silver Chat Crown badge. And he says, cheers to presents and eating ass. Okay, then. Let's go back to stream chat. Good Lord. Fluttershy asked, did I wish my parents a Merry Christmas today? Absolutely, I did. I told you. Right. The reason the stream started late today is because I called my parents just to wish them a Merry Christmas, and my dad talked my ear off for 30 minutes. Okay, then. Pissing Demon did a 55-bit cheer. He's a little off topic, but have you ever shot a gun? Have I ever held a gun and shot it? Yes. Do I own a gun right now? No. I've looked into it. I very much could own a gun, but right now, because of where I live, it's really not that necessary. So, Derek asks, what's my favorite Christmas movie? My favorite Christmas movie is Scrooged, the 1988 version of A Christmas Carol starring Bill Murray. It's a more modernized version of Scrooge, or of A Christmas Carol. But other movies, A Christmas Story, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Home Alone, those are the kind of movies that I watch. It's a Wonderful Life I'm going to watch tonight. So those are the kind of movies I absolutely love and I watch every year. Would you like some balls? Said, you missed the death of the SOK in the 2017 review that I did. No, I didn't. Dude, here's the truth of the matter. The very truth of the matter. The Sons of Kojima, the SOK, this fringe fucking group that hates me, that fringe fucking group that hates me. I don't care about them. I don't follow them. And I don't, you know what I mean? Yes, they hurt me. I know these are the people who very regularly did nasty shit to me, but I don't follow them or pay attention to any of their shit. I don't care about them. And quite honestly, I'm not even going to mention them because that's how insignificant people they are. I'm sorry, but when your whole entire existence is based around hating someone, you are a fucked up human. And, you know, the fact that that group died this year, great. They don't even deserve a mention in my 2017 review because that's how insignificant of people they were. It's that simple. Culver's did a 30-bit cheer. He said, I'm eating ass for Christmas dinner. Soup Double G did a 18-bit cheer, besides being a troll earlier. And he says, can I do a dab to end the year? All right, how about this? I'll do you one better. I'll do you one better. Okay. All right. I will give you a psychedelic. I put this there on the wrong way. There you go. A psychedelic, holly jolly, let's get lit Christmas Day. There you go. Holly jolly Christmas Day. All right. Very nice. I'll wear this for the remainder of the stream. Rock the Ice did a 10-bit cheers. Is any chance of joining a podcast in 2018? I'm certainly not the most desired guest on a podcast. The other problem is a lot of the times these podcasts, when they film, are very... the timing is not good for me. You guys know I stream a ton now. Like, this is my bread and butter. This is how I make my living. And taking time away from that to do a podcast isn't exactly the most beneficial thing. The few podcasts I've been on never really helped me out anyway. So I'm not actively looking to do it. Then again, if someone were nice and asked me to be on a podcast, I would consider it. Okay. Astro Jet Boy did a 10-bit cheers. How did the SOK die? I don't know and I don't care. I don't want to talk about it. I told you guys. The SOK are not part of my life. They never were. They never will be. They died for me to be on their podcast. Thank God I never was, because if I ever was, not only would I have made them look like complete fools, but they would have easily spun it to make me look bad anyway, which was the whole point of their existence. I don't care about them. I'm not going to talk about them. All right. Soap Double G did another 19-bit cheer and said, thanks for the dab. I appreciate it. Atlas Telemon did a 50-bit cheer. He says, how often will you do in real life streams? And will that conflict with Hate Live? I don't know. I mean, typically you're right. Typically this would be a podcast, right? But I just decided to do something special on Christmas Day because I knew that a lot of people would want to see something in regards to like something like this versus me just doing a Hate Live with segments or anything like that. More than typically, I'll just do Hate Live the podcast moving forward. Okay, so that's what you should expect moving forward. It probably won't be IRL. It'll be me doing Hate Live podcast. Divin Erasmus says, who's a cool Twitch user to gift a sub to? It's Christmas and I want to give. I don't know. Who do you like? Who do you think is friendly in the stream chat? You know, or be Secret Santa and just secretly gift a sub to a random person in the stream chat. Do that. Do a Christmas Secret Santa. Just open up the chat users and go blah, and boop, just pick one and gift it. There you go. Bionichu asks, looking forward to any games for next year. Here's the thing. I have not done my yearly schedule update yet. I have the calendar, just showed up a couple days ago, and I'm going to be doing that sometime this week. Once I have a chance to do that, then I can answer your question, but I have no idea what's even coming out, so I can't answer your question until I do a schedule update. Okay? Timbo Slice, I already played Call of Duty World War II's Winter Siege. I guess you missed it. I already did it. Jazora says, have I considered DSP tries it live? Why would I want to eat a full meal in front of you guys on camera, on stream? The way DSP tries it works is I film real quick before I eat, and then I actually eat my dinner on my dining room table. Why would I want to do that up here in my office? No, I don't want to get food and shit in my office, so no, I wouldn't consider doing it live. It's kind of silly. Rockstar did a 10-bit cheer and said something about blue balls and titty night. Okay. And Mosley at Home did a 10-bit troll cheer that I'm going to ignore yet again because all he does is troll cheers. Scubula did a 10-bit cheer. He says, what is your fondest memory as a kid at Christmas time? I already answered that. I already told you guys what my favorite toys were on Christmas. I would say the day when I got Eternia, the day when I opened up my Super NES, those were the days that were like the most fond memories because they were the most awesome presents I got. Whoa, Infinite just did a 1200-bit cheer. and said, Merry Christmas from your friend in the North. He has become the cheerleader for today's stream and unlocked a bunch of emotes for a bunch of people. 25 people in stream chat just got new emotes because of him. So awesome. Very nice. Kai XP is asking, am I still interested in Monster Hunter World in January? I'm on the fence about it. I'll be honest. Even though there's people who are interested in me doing it, I streamed the beta on Saturday, and honestly, within 2 hours, everyone was bored as dirt. And I get the feeling that's just what's going to happen. I'll team up with people, we'll be talking and having fun, and no one on the stream will like it because it's not that kind of game. You know what I mean? It's a game that has a lot of grinding, a lot of killing of monsters. I'm sure there's going to be side quests where you have to kill repetitive shit, just like the DS version that I played. There are people who stream, and their viewing audience like that stuff. I don't think my viewing audience likes that. I don't. I'm still not 100% decided, but the thing that's kind of throwing me off and making me think I'm not going to do it is that Dragon Ball FighterZ comes out the same day, and I probably would get a hell of a lot more attention playing that game. And honestly, I'd probably enjoy playing that game way more than Monster Hunter. So I'm really on the fence about it right now. All right. David Davidson tipped me $1 and says, be right back. I'm making DSP drama videos in my basement all alone on Christmas Day like all the other detractors. There you go. Alice Telemon did a 50-bit cheers. Says, the PlayerUnknown Battleground format suits you and your stream style. Fun, testing, time to talk, and in the meantime, there's still tension. Right. I agree. The Aston Martin did a 10-bit cheer. He just says, Capcom redeemed itself enough for you to give Street Fighter V Arcade Edition another look. Hell no. I said it on Ask the King. I'll say it again. I'm never playing Street Fighter V again, so stop asking me because nothing's going to change my mind. There you go. And now, Sniper the Ladies Man is asking, well, your feelings aside, would you recommend Street Fighter V to a newcomer? I don't know. I have not played Street Fighter V since the summer of 2016. It's a year and a half later. The game's completely changed. I don't know anything about it. I don't care to know anything about it. So asking me anything about Street Fighter V, you may as well ask a random dude walking down the fucking street because he'll know more than me. There you go. Derek is asking me, am I ready to return to L.A. Noire tomorrow? Yeah, I'm interested. I cannot wait because, like I said, L.A. Noire is one of those games. I only played it once. Once through. I never went back and watched my playthrough again. I never even re-experienced it. It's just that once and that was it. So to re-experience the game is going to be pretty awesome this week because it's going to be like playing it fresh. I'm sure there's some things I'll remember, but for the most part, it's going to be like doing it the first time, which will be pretty awesome, I think. So, am I going to play L.A. Noire in VR mode? No. I'm just double checking because I wanted to see if anyone pledged to my Patreon today. No one did. I was hoping we'd get some pledges because I was going to give shout outs, but no one did. So 6 days left, folks. 6 days to make the Metal Gear Solid redemption runs happen. So I hope that you'll pledge, okay? Yes, Jester KL, I will be playing Soul Calibur 6 when it comes out. This year's going to be great for fighting games. We got Dragon Ball FighterZ early on in January. We've got the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection in May. And then whenever Soul Calibur 6 comes out, another solid and great year for fighters. I'm excited. Okay. Shout out to Astro Jet Boy, who just subscribed to the channel, which means, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are up to 331. How is that? Wait, now, wait a minute. How is that possible? Hold on a second. I'm going to refresh. I don't think that's correct. I think that my Twitch page might be glitched here. I'm going to refresh it and see if it still says 331. Because I only had one new sub. Yet it's telling me that I got 2. Oh, wait a minute. I just got a message that Spooky Boy just subscribed to the channel, so maybe that's what it is. Maybe it was delayed. I think that's what it was. Hold on. Hold on a second here. No, now it says 332. All right, well, thank you, everyone. I'm up to 332 subs. That's my new record. 332 subs. Let's see here. Soup Double G. Subscribe to the channel with a 20-bit cheer. It says, in some of your playthroughs, you make up raps on the fly. Have you ever wanted or considered becoming a rapper? And have you ever freestyle rap battled someone? No and no. Alice Telemon did a 30-bit cheer. His thoughts on the Disney-Fox deal with respect to the MCU. I'm as clueless as all you guys, you know. I don't like to speculate. I think that speculating is a bunch of shit. I really do. There's so many YouTubers. Oh, did you hear about the Disney and you know, the Disney and Fox deal? Let's make a giant half an hour vlog about it that gets 1 million views. I play it by ear. I'm chill, and we'll see what happens when it happens. If there's news to talk about, that's one thing. Speculation is a waste of my time. Rock the Ice at a 20-bit cheers and thoughts on doing a retro playstyle of a new game using a camcorder. I've already explained this. I'll explain it again. I couldn't do it because my old cameras that I used to use don't work anymore. The batteries died. They die within like 30 minutes. And also the cameras are broken. Like the memory card falls out and it regularly has issues. I'm never going back to that style, guys. Even as cool as it would be, it's just technically not viable to do that anymore. So shout out to Spooky B LOL, who subscribed to the channel, and also shout out to Londor Gale, who subscribed to the channel. So yeah, we're up to 300. Whoa, we're now up to 333 subscribers. Wait a minute, Gazora 1999 just subscribed to the channel. So we may be up to 334, but it didn't. Oh, we're up to 334 subscribers, the most I've ever had. Wow, that's a lot because we were up to 318. We got a lot of new subs today. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. 334 is the most I've ever done. So thank you very much for that support. I appreciate it. Shout out to Jack Spartacus, who did a 15-bit cheer. It says, my best Christmas memory was playing a copy of Dead Space that Black Mage gave me. Oh, wow. Dead Space 1, huh? Dead Space 1 is good stuff. It's a classic survival horror. It's a shame that we'll probably never see another one again, honestly. All right. Plague Wilder asked me, Yakuza 6 is coming out in March. Am I interested? Am I interested? Yes. Am I going to be able to play it in March? I didn't even finish Yakuza Kiwami. So, you know, we'll see what happens in March, okay? Kate asked, what are my favorite holiday beverages? Around Thanksgiving time, I always try to drink apple cider, which is actually huge out here in Washington. You can get different kinds of it. And now, obviously, eggnog is the traditional holiday beverage that I drink around Christmas. And I just had some recently, so that was good. Rock the Ice did a 10-bit cheer. He said, let's get to 350 subs or die trying. I really don't think we're going to do it on this stream because I'm pretty close to the end here. My voice is very shot. So I need several hours to relax my voice here before I can do my stream tonight. So we're almost done. A few more minutes, guys, then we're going to call it quits. So I don't think we're going to hit 350 subs on this stream. But maybe tonight for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, maybe I will. I guess we'll see. Any more questions? Scrupula says he just pledged a Patreon. Merry Christmas. If he did, I'll give him a shout out. I didn't get the email yet. It's probably going to come through in a couple minutes. It probably takes a couple minutes to process. I'll keep my eyes peeled here. Alice Telemon did a 55-bit cheer. He says, Phil, thank you for the fun stream. Yeah, thanks for coming out. That's what I should say. You know, I should actually, and oh yeah, thank you, Scrupula. He just pledged to my Patreon. Thank you very much, Scrupula, for the pledge. I appreciate it. It came through. Very nice. I should say this. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming out. It's Christmas Day. Obviously, you guys and gals are busy with other stuff. And to see, you know, hundreds of people come out to hang out with me today and hear my story about 2017 and hear my stories about Christmas traditions, obviously was really awesome. I appreciate you spending your time. Reminder, I am playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds later tonight, and I'll be streaming all week LA Noire. So if you guys are around, you know, this is what I love doing. This, to me, even though my voice is all shot, was a lot of fun. I love hanging out with you guys on stream. I do. For me, things have changed. It used to be, I'm coming to work. Here we go, just playing this game like I'm isolated by myself, right? Now it's so different. Interacting with you guys and, you know, having different kinds of fun, you know, on the stream. And, you know, it was tons of fun. I love this. This is so different. And I have a different mentality every day coming to stream than I used to when I used to just do videos, right, for YouTube. I'm so glad I am getting myself separated from the toxicity of YouTube, and I'm moving on to the positivity of being a Twitch streamer. I think it was the right thing to do. Thank you to everyone again who over the years has been supportive, and those who suggested coming back to Twitch, and those who have been supportive this year. You guys have been absolutely amazing. And, you know, again, today, cheering, subbing, tipping, you guys have been awesome, and you're helping me out tremendously. And hopefully we can keep this up over the course of January. I can get out of this fucking situation I am with the taxes, and things will be good. All right, final couple of questions, if anyone has any here. Let's see here. Or we could just adjourn because, like I said, my voice is shot. 3 hours here without talking would be pretty good. Solid shock to the 10-bit cheers as thank you, Phil, for the Christmas hangout. Rock the Ice to the 10-bit cheers at fuck taxes. Scrupulous says, I feel like 2018 will be your best year ever. I guess we'll see. Dr. Maul says, thank you for the fun streams. Thank you. Rematch with Ludwig Wen asks Vashin91 this summer. This summer, the downtime playthrough I'm planning to do this summer, much like I did Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin in 2017, I'm planning to do a full run of Bloodborne with the Old Hunters DLC included the summer of 2018. No Dark Viking, I have no plans to ever play Guilty Gear. I respect the game, I like watching it at high levels, but it's just not my thing. JV5 guy says, glad you changed, Phil. I'm glad I did too. This is so much better. It really is so much better. It's a better experience overall. There's social interaction, positivity. It's not just me sitting here playing game. You know, it's so better. And, you know, thank you again, you guys, for turning me on to it, because I didn't know how much Twitch had changed for the better, and that this possibility even existed until you guys suggested it, and I tried it out, and I love it. So thank you guys for that. Phil is my daddy did a 10-bit cheers. Said, thanks, Dad. Hopes for a great 2018. Sue Double G did a 10-bit cheers. As flame emoji. Okay, then. Bionich, you also thanked me for the streams and says, looking forward to the Bloodborne run in 2018. Oh, so Zavon sent me a PM on Twitter during a break, and I read it. And what he was suggesting is maybe I should start uploading all my videos to Twitch or keeping my streams archived on Twitch and monetizing them. Because if Amazon is actually, for those who don't know, there's rumors that Amazon is starting up their own video on demand website directly to compete with Twitch. Excuse me, I'm an idiot. Let's try that again. There's rumors that Amazon is starting their own video on demand website to directly compete with YouTube. Because YouTube literally has lost public opinion. People don't like it. And if there were another website that could compete with YouTube, they would. Amazon owns Twitch, owns Curse, and is a force with a ton of money behind it that could probably rival YouTube. There's been rumors that they filed a patent and also a trademark for this new website that they're going to launch soon in 2018 that's going to be a competitor to YouTube. I don't know necessarily if any data off of Twitch is going to link to YouTube. I mean, excuse me. You can tell I'm tired. Let's try this again. I don't know if anything in regards to Twitch is going to link to whatever this new website is that Amazon's going to create, this new business model. If it does, that's great. Imagine how awesome it could be. You live stream on Twitch. You immediately, those videos go live on their website without even any work or effort. Boom, they're ready to go. People can watch on demand, and instantly it's monetized and people can watch. Holy shit, would that be amazing? Especially with the following I already have on Twitch. If I could have an on-demand site tied into Twitch already, that could be tremendously good. But we don't know. It could be a completely separate entity from Twitch as well, and it doesn't have any integration. We don't know what's going to happen, so I don't want to take any kind of steps to, let's adjust everything, and then next thing you know, it didn't work out. So I'm just going to go for part of the course for now. I'm going to keep streaming here on Twitch. I'm going to upload the archives to YouTube, and we'll play it by ear. Keep my ear to the ground and keep listening for any rumblings of when this might launch and try that out. Young Guap Fresh asks, am I going to get another animal one day? Possibly, but right now, especially financially with everything going on, it would be pretty irresponsible to get another pet. So, not doing that. All right, I think it's time, folks. I think it's time to end the stream. It's been another hour for this segment. So wow, I went over 3 hours on this stream. I didn't know how long I would go. I actually started talking around 12:30 ish. Actually, it was more like 1, and we're already past 4. So I want to say thank you to everyone who showed up for the stream, who attended, everyone who's been very supportive of me over this year. It's been a tumultuous, crazy year, and a lot of shit happened, but hey, I got through it. Let's hope. Again, thank you for the ongoing support. If you could pledge to my Patreon, there's 6 days left. I'd be very appreciative if we can hit that stretch goal in the next 6 days. Would be tremendous and really help me with this tax situation. You know, I just want people to understand. I got a lot of tips and a lot of support this stream, but I'm not out of the woods yet. In fact, just this stream is not enough to even pay for the tax lawyer. So it helped tremendously, but please, let's keep it up. If we can get people to keep showing up for streams and being supportive and everything, especially over the month of January, anything that you guys do in regards to Patreon or in regards to tipping helps me tremendously. So thank you for your support up to now. Thank you for your any upcoming support. I am incredibly grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am the real life It's a Wonderful Life in a lot of ways. For those who don't know, who haven't seen that movie, it's a movie about a guy who basically just tried to do good things in his life and tried to make good choices and tried to help people out and do the right thing for what he felt was right. And even though there was a group of people who loved him, his life turned out bad. Things financially went wrong for him. He never got to live up to his dreams of the things that he wanted to do. And even though he ended up having nice things happen to him because people were nice to him, by the end of the movie, he just wishes that he were dead. But in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm him because even though with all the negativity, the people out there who literally hate my guts because all they believe is slander because they're morons. They really are mouth-drooling sheep who just follow whatever they're told. There's a hardcore group of people who know the truth, who follow me, who love what I do, who like me as a person, and come out in situations like this to help me. You guys are the reason I'm still here. People say to me every day, how does Phil persevere through all the negativity? How does Phil persevere through big YouTubers who talk shit about him constantly, even though he doesn't even talk about them? How does Phil persevere through swatting and DDoS attacks and copyright strikes? He could have been gone 10 times. He's still here. How does he do it? You are how I do it. Because you stick with me, you stay positive with me, you help me out when I need it, you save my butt, and I keep pushing forward because of you. So as long as you keep doing what you're doing, I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm not going anywhere. Sounds good? Thank you, everyone, for a great Christmas special. I hope that you enjoyed it. Peace out. Merry Christmas to all a good night. I'll see you next time. Obviously, I'll see you for those of you who are live on stream. If you want to see me later tonight for more gameplay, I hope you'll tune in. But if not, everyone, I hope that you had a very Merry Christmas for 2017. And I hope that maybe this show at least gave you a little bit of entertainment and you feel that it was meaningful for you. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your support. To all a good night. Peace out, folks.